So hello and welcome to the workshop, and welcome to part 2 of the garden bench restoration. So let's recap from part 1. In part 1 I showed you how rickety the old bench was due to someone else's fix beforehand, and stripping down the bench and getting all the items that needed replacing or repairing out of, apart from the bench, and deciding what to do with them. So in this part 2 is where I show you how I replace and remake one of the struts, and I had to make 2, but I've only shown you 1. And I've also shown you a very simple turning of some pins, dowels, sorry, not pins, dowels, to put in the end of the struts to pull everything together with. And I run through other little pieces I've had to make and repair, and the reconstruction of the bench and how I finish it and everything else will be in part 3. So I hope you enjoy watching, and I hope it just shows you how easy something can be. So take care now, and I hope you enjoy watching. Bye. So the first item I need to replace is this part, which is a strut between the back leg and the front leg on the right hand side. As you can see, this is where the slats all join onto. This is the left hand side one, and as you can see, it's got 2 tenons on the ends, and this one has only got 1 tenon because this one has been cut off in a previous repair. So I have been thinking about how I can keep this piece, but either dowel it or put a new tenon into there, but I just thought I've been really lucky, and I will show you. So you may or may not be able to see, I've actually drawn out the rough shape of the new piece. This piece of sapele, which is a mahogany species, it's what they mainly use for hardwood wooden frame windows and doors. A work colleague of mine, last year or so, he was leaving work, retiring, and he said, do you want some hardwood? So of course I'm always up for some wood, recycled wood. So I said yes, so he brought them over, and we got these lovely pieces of sapele hardwood, and this is absolutely the right size and thickness for one of those pieces. So I've been really lucky. All I've got to do is just cut out the shape and put the tenon on either end, and it's done. Nothing else needs to be done to it apart from sanding off some of this paint and making it look a little bit polished up. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. We're going to be cutting this out, giving it a sand, putting the tenons on, and all should be hunky-dory. So let's go. So there you go, there's the finished piece, just dry fitted into place, and it's looking good. Nothing to worry about with this hole that was already in the piece. Unfortunately, I couldn't work it out, position it so that came out. It's going to be fine. It's not going to weaken it, so. But yeah, very happy with that. So, just to give you a quick update on where we are and where we're up to with this bench. So this is the back of the bench with the two back legs. This has been sanded, just roughly sanded with 80 grit, just to get all the old dirt and grime off of it, back and front, as you can see. And then over here we have got all the old pieces on the floor, the slats, as you can see at the bottom of the picture. One of the old legs, just stand that up, and the armrests and the old struts there. Here in the middle we've got a new strut for the bottom right hand leg, or left hand leg I should say, and we've got two new struts. This one in the middle is for the middle of the bench, which I came to realise that when I took it all apart, and I'll just get the old piece that was in that position. Here we go. This is what was in the middle of the bench, the middle strut, which someone had replaced because obviously the original one had broken at the tenon here. So I've completely replaced it, because this is just a piece of old pine from some 2x4 which they just temporarily stuck in there, which wasn't really doing much of a job. And this is the end strut. Now on the end strut you might see I've just filled with a piece of, there is a bit of a screw hole coming through here. So I've got a piece of some glue, wood glue and sawdust that was made from making these parts, and I filled in that screw hole, a screw hole on here, and just a piece that had torn out on there, just to fill it in and make it look better rather than having bits of holes everywhere. And I've also on this old leg filled in a big groove that was left in there from a drilled hole, just to make it look a little bit more presentable. So that's where we're at, and at the moment what we're doing is sanding everything back, and then the next stage is these old holes that were made to try and correct what was the problem with it. We're going to route these out to a nice oblong shape and then fill it in with a scrap piece of material to make it look more presentable. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So lots of sanding. So as you can see, I'm turning some dowels, or some pins. Dowels, probably a bit wording for it. I've turned it down to round from 15mm square stock. I've then parted down to a size just above where I need it to be. And now I'm just turning in between the two bits just to get them down to the same sizes. There will be a lot of chattering because it's quite a long piece and it's not very it's quite flexible in the middle. So I'm just going to zoom in just to let you see a better picture. So you can see this bit's turned down to just above 7mm. The rest is going to be turned down now. I've got another piece turned down in the middle there and another piece at the end. This is the same material, sapele. I've just taken it off cut from the window frame on the table saw, squared it up, and now just turning it.